bunch
There we
of
go.
chewy.
Audio's working. Bada bing, bada boom. Skibbity bop.
Skibbity bop.
It's a little bit weird in the.
What?
Maybe that's because it's just the different TV screens, but
What?
we're a little bit saturated in the. Well, this is what we get for not having a proper like streaming streaming booth. Like all the lights are a little bit weird and like saturated, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's just different grading on the screens.
Yeah, that's fine. Hawkeye. I hope the audio is not too loud. Anyway, welcome back to the Daring Player Squad channel. My name's Rashi,
And I'm Joyce.
and we are playing Ace Attorney Duala Destinies. Is that right? Is it Duala Destinies still?
Yes, Dual Destinies.
Duala Destinies. We are back after a like months-long hiatus. I know some of you have been real eager to see what's next. I think we're going into the final.
It's time for gay
trial.
lawyers.
Gay lawyer time, kind of. Yeah, we're back with Bad Boy Stubs here on Sundays. We are moving into, I think, the final chapter of this particular story. So we might be wrapping up after like a 2-month ending on a high note after a 2-month hiatus. So
Possibly, maybe. We'll find out.
I don't know. I haven't actually. Again, we haven't actually played and finished any of the Apolojustice stuff, except for like Apolojustice, except for Apolojustice. We haven't played Dual Destinies. We never like finished it. So a lot of this is kind of like coming out of like, you know, it's just like a lot of like guesswork. But we pulled up for the express purpose of getting things done fast. We're going to we brought up a we do have a walkthrough just to help us through the whole situations. Also, voice acting every single line would be like terrible. It's just hard on the throat. So we'll do basically the bare minimum. Last time we left off, I don't remember. We're gonna have to pick up the pieces as we go along.
Yes. Hold on. I'm gonna just do one little thing for.
What are you doing? Joyce is already fiddling with the audio.
This is just for my sake.
Okay.
All right. Go for it.
All right. Let's see here if all the buttons are working properly. Let's see, the judge. I suppose we should reconvene the trial of Solomon Starbuck or something.
Or something.
Or something. Your Honor, could you please come out from under your bench? There are no more bombs, I promise. Oh, yes, my apologies. I'm still a little jumpy when it comes to trials involving bombs. I mean, the first courtroom exploded. Oh, flashback. And robot voice.
Oh, this.
Oh, no, never mind. And then Mr. Tonate self-destructed. I guess that's one way of describing what happened to Tonate. Anyway, it seems that Mr. Justice was seriously wounded by Mr. Tonate's action. So you, Mr. Rab, will be taking up the defense? Do you have an understanding of what has happened in the trial so far? Oh my god, please. No, I don't. I need it.
I don't know what's going on at all.
I don't remember.
Well, too late.
Yes, Your
Classic
Honor.
Phoenix, you're gonna.
The defense is ready.
The defense is not ready.
The defense is not ready. Very well. Is the prosecution also ready? Oh, what was his voice again? It was just like a...
Cockney.
Yeah. Oh, good. Thank God I didn't say anything.
He just
I take it you'd like me to give the opening statement this time.
Looks like the judge has become a pretty good mind reader.
Well, he's certainly seen more than his fair share of colorful prosecutors. You could say he's something of a veteran of sorts.
Not
Such pals. Let's see. Oh, thank God. Thank God he's going through it for me. Let's see. In the previous part of this trial, we learned that the victim, Clay Terran, escaped from Launch Pad 1 carrying the defendant, Solomon Starbuck. There were explosions on the second floor of the Space Center and on the rocket itself. The two astronauts used the Launch Pad 1 corridor to reach the boarding lounge.
Oh, Sir Starbuck.
How could the victim climb down the ladder if he was carrying the defendant? That was the mystery that needed to be solved. But Mr. Justice proved that the victim was killed in the boarding lounge. Prosecutor Blackwell, were you able to discover any new facts related to this point? Upon further investigation, we discovered an oxygen tank fragment in the lounge. Surprisingly, it would appear that Justice Donald's argument was correct.
So that means the testimonies of the first two people on the scene are suspect.
Super sus.
Super sus.
There were two people who claimed to be first on the scene. Can we truly trust their statements?
Let's see. The two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given this false statement to the police?
Yes, certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. And just as our team was about to cross-examine Detective Arm, the courtroom bombing incident occurred, and the trial was put on hold. That accursed fellow. He killed my witness. He killed Detective Arm.
He definitely put the kibosh on anyone asking her about what she saw. Oh, sobs at Phoenix.
Exactly. In other words, the question of who killed the victim in the boarding lounge has once again become the main focus of this trial.
We're back!
Yay!
Hi, Brendan.
Hello, Brendan.
Hey.
It's obvious that Prosecutor Blackwell still thinks it's Mr. Starbuck. Fulbright.
Ooh, okay, Team Cat Paw with a raid party of 7!
Danke for your raid.
Oh, thank you. Welcome
cat
in.
People, you have joined a
goodness.
cat-friendly stream.
Oh my goodness.
We can, if one of the boys decides to come over, we can show them. We have two
Shout
cats,
out.
actually. Shout out. Say hi. People in the chat, do not bite.
Team Cat Pull. I can absolutely do this.
There we go.
Hey,
Persona
coming to
5
Persona 5 Royal. I approve. Been there, done that.
Joyce.
Took over my life for like 2 years.
Joyce
I am
is
not
deep,
over that.
Deep in the Persona 5
I am.
punch.
Oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
On the one hand, don't talk to me about Persona 5 Royal because I will not shut up. On the other hand, come talk to me about Persona 5 Royal because I will not shut up.
You can do it in the Discord, or you can add her at her Twitter handle. One of those things will.
Welcome!
But yes, thank you.
Where have you come from?
I'm gonna keep going here while everyone
keep
catches
going,
up.
keep going.
Fulbright said that Blackwell has a thing against the astronaut. Nevertheless, the defense argues there was a third person in the lounge, and that's who killed the victim. Objection. To make such reckless claims in a courtroom takes a bold man, or a stupid one. There was no third person in the boarding lounge. Or have you gone dotty already? Old man.
Objection!
We'll see who's the dotard after I trounce you with my years of experience, little boy. In any case, Mr. Starbuck claims he saw someone leaving the lounge. Furthermore, the Space Center employee also saw a suspicious figure at the scene. They saw a third person. Rabble, 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 rabble.
Man, look at that smooth rabble.
Yeah, that's smooth rabble. I see my sister has been running her mouth again. That's right. I almost
shit.
forgot that Aura is Prosecutor Blackwell's sister. No
I forgot she has this.
Yeah. No matter. She didn't see the mystery person's face clearly. Therefore, there is no evidence to indicate that this person was not the defendant. I guess the possibility that the figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there. In brief, we need to determine if a third person was there or not. To this end, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people at the scene.
Director Cosmos, huh?
Very well. Bailiff, please bring the witness to the stand. Oh, I don't remember what Cosmos' voice was. He's got a little segue, which I think is hilarious. Well, I believe I've seen you before in the newspapers. Oh, he's got a Russian accent. Yeah.
Was it?
Of course you have. Of course you have. For I am Yuri Cosmos,
Yuri, yes.
director of Cosmos Space Center, which was of course named after me, Yuri Cosmos. Don't you have anything you wish to ask of me?
Looks like he's all geared up to do some bragging.
7 years ago, I successfully launched the Hit 1, and everyone already knows how brilliant you are. Even I'm trying to hold back my tears at seeing such a great man standing before me. So, could you please proceed directly to your important testimony?
Ooh, Idle Elf did art for us.
A win. Cat People is a channel my partner and I run. Oh, wait. I feel like we've done it. I remember this. I remember this couple. We're trying to 100% Persona 5 Royale right now. So
it's been a time.
Yeah.
I know, right?
That game is so very, very lengthy.
I love it so much.
I see this fine young lad has a proper appreciation for greatness. Then allow me to begin my epical testimony that will be recorded in the annals of history. Oh God, George, no! Please don't hit the chords. George likes to run around the chords, and he keeps, like, he's wrecked a lot of the USB ports on the PC because he just books it, gets caught on it, and just rips it. And George needs to understand he can't keep doing that no more. He's looking at me now. Like, you say my name? Papa? Papa?
That speech of Prosecutor Blackwell's just now. It sounded more to me like he was poking fun at the Director Cosmos.
It's probably for the best that it sailed right over the director's head.
Georgie, come here. You need to be shamed on stream.
Now then, Director Cosmos, the condensed version of your illustrious testimony, please. Witness testimony.
All right, this is where we find out which day we're actually on.
Yeah.
What I saw on
Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together.
Oh, we're on day one. This is fine.
We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on inside. We saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge, in Terran lying on the floor. I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck. I see. So in your testimony, you claim you arrived on the scene after the two had escaped from the launch pad to the lounge, and just after the victim had been killed. Oh, the horror, the humanity! But what I said is what I saw, and what I saw is what I said. Courageous actions to take in the face of such terrifying explosions, wouldn't you say?
We are day one.
Yeah, day one. To save my men, I personally went to the epicenter of the danger, risking my own life for theirs.
Yeah, we did investigations last time, like a month ago.
A month and a half ago.
So today is trial day 2, part 1. Yeah. Well, what do you know? It sounds like the director really cares about his men.
Yeah, although it sounds more like he was scared and just had a peek from far away. Is the defense ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honor. Director Cosmos' testimony is pretty vague. I'm going to have to press him and draw out more information before I do anything else.
Press the last statement.
At least that's last.
Press him!
Press it. Okay.
Press him till he squeals like a pig.
Yeah, this one.
Hold it! Aura Blackwell also saw a suspicious figure in the lounge, but she gave the statement that it was too dark to see the person's face clearly. Did you see this person's face? Did you see this figure's face clearly? No, not clearly. The lighter they were holding illuminated the area around their feet at the time. But other than that, I could see little else. That's why I could see Terran, but I could not see who the other person was. So for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck. Is that
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 Russian accent.
My Russian accent. I learned this Russian accent from Armageddon, the actor who plays the Russian cosmonaut. I love one quote from him, where he's like, you can't just do that. That's American technology. American technology. He's like, American technology, Russian technology is all made in Taiwan. I love his voice. He just bangs at it with a wrench because he's just this poor Russian in space, alone in space forever. Oh god, that actor's in everything. Like he plays he plays Satan in like Constantine. He's in he's like he was like the spokesman for Volkswagen. He's just like he's just
Oh, is he the like
V-dub, yeah.
Yeah, the V-dub guy.
V-dub guy, V-dub in the house. Even though he has a weird Russian German accent.
God, I love
that guy. So for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck. Isn't that correct? Well, I would like to believe that Starbuck isn't the type of man who is capable of murder. Objection. When the witness entered the boarding lounge, there was no third person there. Isn't that correct, great Space Center Director? Yes, that's right. Only Starbuck and Terran were there by that time. After we peeked in, the lounge suddenly went dark and the figure vanished. You mean they disappeared? That's odd.
Objection!
The reason the figure appeared to vanish is because it was the defendant. When the witnesses weren't looking, he fell to the floor and feigned unconsciousness. Hold on. Director Cosmos, did you ever take your eyes off the scene? Just for a brief instant, about as long as it takes for a shooting star to go by. If you took your eyes off the scene, then this third person could have escaped during that time. But what escape route could this person have used? The direction opposite of the control room, the southern door to the elevators. There's no security lock on that door, so it would have been possible to escape that way.
Objection!
All things are possible, right, Dono? Oh, right, he has to go weeb mode when he says Dono. Right, or Dono? The question is, do you have any proof? Well... If we are just talking possibilities, we could each profess whatever we'd like. An inmate who used to be a university professor and lunar researcher used to say that there is a kingdom of little green men who live under the surface of the moon. As long as they don't punish us in the same, as long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon or whatever we've. Okay, as long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon for whatever we've done to it. I think that's a Sailor Moon reference.
Absolutely Sailor Moon reference.
But I say, where's your proof that this quaint kingdom exists?
He's calling your theory a work of fiction, boss.
And he's right. I don't have any proof yet.
He's calling you out on your bullshit.
Shut up! I'm trying my best here. This Phoenix losing his shit is like 90% of this game.
I know, right?
By the way, if people have like suggestions about like what's it called, accents and stuff for new characters, I am totally open.
Please do
that. We will try. This is bad voice dubs. It's not great voice dubs. So.
There's a reason.
We're trying voice dubs.
Hashtag we're trying.
The southern door was a possible escape route. I'd better make a mental note of that.
Thank God I don't have to make a mental note of that incident walk through, because oh boy.
Director Cosmos, may I ask you a question? Yes, da. Why did you look away from the boarding lounge? There's actually another tale of bravery. Okay, fuck George. He tried to book it through the cables and realized there was too many. He's like, okay. There's actually another tale of bravery behind the answer to that. It was when Detective Arm saw the figure and raised her gun. Being a great humanitarian and protector of mankind, I tried to stop her. What? You're saying Detective Arm raised her gun as soon as she saw the figure? I imagine her instincts as a detective told her that they were the killer. I don't know about that. If you were able to prevent Detective Arm, and were you able to prevent Detective Arm from firing her gun? I'm afraid I was too late. I was unable to stop her. She identified herself clearly, and then she fired 2 warning shots at the shadowy figure.
Pow pow!
Pep, pep! Straight to the dome. This information about Detective Arm's actions sounds critically important. Please add it to your testimony. Oh, is this gonna be another Von Karma thing?
Oh, what kind of? Oh, I
The
don't.
second bullet's buried in the culprit. Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe.
All right, so we have this. I'm assuming we need to present evidence.
On this new statement, present the bullet hole.
Yes, we have one bullet hole. Only the one bullet hole. My buttholes. Are you sure you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing? You doubt my word?
Go!
Words that will someday be written down in history books?
Vroom, vroom.
Hey, subscription for 40 months. Oh, wow. He's revving up his Segway.
I love it. Welcome, Injun. How you
Hello,
doing?
James. Somehow I don't think that those are the exact words. Somehow I don't think those exact words will be written down in any history books. Mr. Wright, could you please explain yourself so that we can all understand? You say that Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, and yet only 1 bullet hole was ever found at the scene. What? Only 1 bullet hole means the gun was only fired once, and yet Director Cosmos is saying Detective Arm fired 2 shots. No editor would allow such a glaring contradiction into a history book.
Objection.
Unfortunately for you, the witness's words are true. We confirm that 2 shots were fired from Detective Arm's gun. But there was only 1 bullet hole at the scene. Where did the other bullet hole vanish to? So,
Something attack bird.
Yeah, dog, yeah. You should know the answer to that already. I should? During the previous trial, a certain oxygen tank was presented as evidence. We've already discussed that it was ruptured in the lounge, have we not?
Is it in the oxygen tank?
Well, it appears that thing that ruptured it was a bullet that was found near the tank, to be precise. This bullet was fired from a .38 caliber gun, the same caliber as the detective's gun.
His face.
Nutty!
His face.
The rifling marks also match up. There's no question the bullet was fired from Detective Arm's gun. Okay, that only proves that it hit the oxygen tank, not necessarily that that tank belonged to him, right? So we've got the ballistics report. Rifling marks. They're like a gun's fingerprints on a bullet, correct? And examining the rifling marks on a bullet can tell us the gun it was fired from. One of the bullets the detective fired found its way into the holographic image display. The other bullet came to a stop near the victim's oxygen tank. The evidence confirms the director's statement that the detective fired 2 shots. My beautiful contradiction. Gone. All gone.
So, that bullet hole was from a .38 caliber, huh? I better update the record. There's an ad about to start in 5 minutes.
That's fine. Very good. Now we have the fate of both of the shots Detective Arm fired. Mr. Wright, does that clear up all of your questions? Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. One hit the holographic display and the other hit the oxygen tank. Does that really clear up everything about what happened at the scene? No, it does not.
No, it does not.
It doesn't explain the oxygen tank levels, I think. Let me just double check. I'm trying to pull back from the vaguest parts of my memories. No, Your Honor, it doesn't. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots from a .38 caliber gun. But that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence found at the scene. A piece that points to the existence of a third person. Oh. Very well, but it won't do to keep us waiting, Mr. Rat. What piece of evidence suggests that the possibility of a third person at the scene?
There's a 10 caliber bullet.
Right. So this is a 10 caliber.
Yes.
And the one that they presented to us was a 38 caliber.
Yes.
So another bullet from another gun must have happened.
Yes.
So boom.
This was the one found in the gutters, wasn't
Yeah, in like the grates or something.
it? Yeah.
And what is this metal pellet supposed to be? What is this metal pellet supposed to be? Just a little something of great importance we found at the crime scene, Your Honor.
You found it where? I found in a floor gutter by the crime scene. It looks like the police and the prosecution both missed. Furthermore, it is a 10 caliber bullet, making it a much smaller one than the Detective Arm's 38 calibers.
Then that means...
Exactly. One more person must have been there in the lounge. A third person who had a gun that could fire a 10 caliber bullet.
A little pea shot.
Yeah, it's a pellet
Yeah.
gun. It's half of a 22 round, which is ridiculously small. Rabble,
Yeah.
rabble, rabble, rabble.
I mean, it's half of a miracle that he found that bullet to begin with.
Yeah.
And if that's true, it explains why Detective Arm fired warning shots. If this third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun, and in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
It looks like you deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us.
Then why didn't you say so?
What is this now?
Rabble, 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 rabble. What? You never breathed a word of any of this to me before.
Well, all great men have a secret or two, don't you know?
Foolish old geezer. So Director Cosmos really has been hiding the presence of a third person all along.
I miss the rabble, rabble.
Rabbles.
The rabble is back.
Director Cosmos, I want you to testify to the court about what you really saw.
You may be a very great man, but in my courtroom you are just another witness. You won't receive special treatment here. Now, please give accurate testimony, or I slap you in the garbanzo beans. Detective Arm and I rushed into the control room together. In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and Terran on the floor. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. Given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered it, does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant?
Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely, as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door, the one that didn't have a security lock.
No Ace Attorney 7 announcement at the concert.
There never is, yeah.
No, but it's like, if anything happens, it's usually at the concerts is what it is.
I guess,
Right? You're like,
yeah.
But yeah, also, being an Ace Attorney fan is like, is there a new game? There's no new
Never
game. Is
new
there a new game? There's no new game. Look at us, another cafe. Oh, no, it's not a new game.
Double-edged swords are a tricky lot. Mishandle one and it is you who is cut down. Huh? Your reasoning could apply if Space Boy were the killer as well.
Space Boy!
Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the 10 caliber bullet.
Add in 5, 4,
Detective
3,
Arm would
2,
have responded
1.
by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to invent the possibility of a third person.
I'm gonna stop a minute to let the ad pass. But hello! Yes, new folks in the chat. I hope you are enjoying this lovely, lovely game. Of course, the new people are probably not subscribed, which means you're experiencing an ad right now, which you you can probably get around by subscribing.
If you ever come back to watch
If you ever want to come back.
If you watch this in the
Secret message behind the adverts locked away in VODs. Anyway, back to our regular scheduled programming. Beep boop.
And back to our regularly scheduled programming. Thank you for your patience as the automatic ads run.
But Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun in his possession when he was found by police. Nor has a gun been found at the crime scene. Its absence can only be explained if there were a third party who took it with them.
Objection!
Recall the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. The defendant could have simply thrown the gun down the chute.
Objection!
But you can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving with the weapon.
Objection!
It's up to you to prove that possibility, and I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence. My giant cock. Sorry. What evidence? Why, the detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, naturally. The most compelling evidence of all that tells us he is the culprit. Oh, I did forget all about that. Look, your boldness, how deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine.
Pointing out stuff is what the stream is all about. It's true. Wow, he sliced our third person's theory to ribbons and served it to us just like that.
Yes, well, I actually have a question.
Giant what now?
The bullet that was the mysterious figure
You heard
shot.
what we said.
What did it hit exactly? It hit me. So does that mean you're a ghost?
I was wondering when you'd realize it's your boldness.
No, he's a ghost.
Spooky, Director Cosmos.
So, Director Cosmos is an authentic, bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls.
Prosecutor Blackwell, shame on you for teasing that nice old gentleman.
Your boldness, it was all in jest. Please, show yourself again.
Are you sure? In that case, how did you manage to survive being shot, Director Cosmos? It's a 10mm caliber.
I know, right? That would have
That's a pellet gun.
that would have stung
Yeah.
at best.
I'm glad you asked. It was a miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet hit my glorious Medal of Honor, whereby it ricocheted, thus saving my life. What? Rabble in the courts. Rabbling in the courts. That's unbelievable.
I have to check this out. Oh, wow. Look at that. There's one extra Gaxa star.
The odds are literally astronomical. I guess it really was a miracle.
It's beginning to really feel like the Cosmos is watching out for Director Cosmos.
But why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos? Oh, he's giving the Genji. What's it called? The Gendo pose.
The saves on animation
I must
pose.
save on face animations. A great man such as myself has to hide things on occasion, no matter how much it hurts. It is the plight of the truly great. It might be hard for this generation to understand.
I don't know, but it sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding?
I also have a giant schlong.
I don't think he can really hide that, though.
That's why I have to go around on Segway. I have to carry it with me. Because I have just these giant beetle-sized gonads. Anyway.
Oh, God.
Let's just cross-examine him and see what we can find out.
I'd rather not examine anything too finely at this point.
Now then, Mr. Radio, cross-examination, please. He's also covering one eye. I don't know if he's got an eye patch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Detective... okay, never mind. Detective I rushed to the control room.
So we want to present the bullet on the third statement. God, that was a lot of talking in between to get back to this point. Yes.
Present the which bullet? The gun.
The bullet.
Which one?
It just says the
Oh.
bullet. Probably the 10mm.
Objection!
Director Cosmos, I believe you're telling this court a glorious lie.
A great man like me tell a lie? Have you ever heard such a thing in all of history? Russians lie about things? That's crazy.
That's your historical
You're crazy. I
similarity
never
with
lie about
Russians.
anything. Communism is great. It's going fine. We're winning space race. Perfect lie. Perfect story.
My accusations is based on the positions of the people who were in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door, and the mysterious figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, the bullet would have traveled in this direction.
Right.
But
But
However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here behind. Yeah. No. This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, were you really? Where were you really when you were being shot at? Ah! Ladies and gentlemen, I present you a human merry-go-round. Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself tell you the bullet hit his metal? Of this there is no mistake.
Yeah, I couldn't ricochet across the room though.
Not that far, yeah.
But in that case, the bullet would have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency? Of course. I didn't think. What? Oh, great great Director Cosmos. Yes. Is there something you'd like me to expound upon? You were in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south. Is that not right? No! What are you getting at? Use your own brain. Your head must have some other use than housing that bird's nest. Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick up my hair?
It's pretty easy to pick
Why does
on.
everyone pick up my hair? Director Cosmos and the detective witnessed the scene at the southern door. The killer fired at them there, and that is why the bullet was found at the south. Oh, that actually makes sense, actually. Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favorable for the prosecution. Huh? Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this. How about it, Director? If you don't tell the truth this time.
Oh, the shackles are off.
Yikes! Use handcuffs! You become but rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man. All right, I will tell the truth. Just put your sword away. You are correct. I, the great Yuri Cosmos, was looking into the room from the southern door. What? That's the complete opposite of all the testimony he's given us so far.
How is he not
Like perjury. Like,
Yeah, how is...
slap that man with perjury.
Seriously.
Oh my god.
This court is an actual circus.
And now that you've actually lost your possibility that a third person was in the room. I have? How? The director and the detective were near the southern door, meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition. The corridor beyond was filled with smoke. But the only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was with Director Cosmos' fingerprints. In short, there would be no escape for any third person that had been there. Oh my god! Oh my dance! My third person just disappeared. It's just like one of Trucy's magic tricks. This guy's crazy. Holy shit, dude.
I like how even Athena's like, oh god.
Order in this court. Director Cosmos, why did you tell such an outrageous lie? You were covering for the defendant. Isn't that right? Yes, da. It was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprit would have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant that there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was protect Starbucks and my sweet chai lattes. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person. What a convoluted lie. Was he really covering for the defendant? It looks like we've come to a conclusion. That the defense's argument, the possibility of a third person, has crumbled.
No!
It's over. Yikes! The judge is about to hand down his verdict. I think, Phoenix, think! This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. If a third person had no way of escaping the scene, then what if one of the people at the scene was the third person? Wait, what if the whole premise is all wrong? Director Cosmos said that he and the detective Director Cosmos said that he and the detective Arm rushed into the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other? And what if that person entered the lounge? Then they would be that third person. The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for argument against these claims. I will now render my verdict.
Objection!
Please wait, Your Honor. There is still one possibility.
Oh? Well, this had better be good, Mr. Rat.
There is one and only one person who could have escaped from that scene. And that person would have been the first person who arrived at the scene. Then upon entering the boarding lounge, the second person to arrive came via the southern door. And that's why the first person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them.
Very well, let's hear more about this theory. Who was this one person who could have escaped from the boarding lounge? The director.
The director himself.
How very convenient an Arm is dead.
Mm-hmm.
What? But that's... Mr. Rat, what are you claiming here?
Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director is the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all.
But that means...
Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness, Director Yuri Cosmos.
What?
What?
Nani?
Holy shit! What the fuck? Didn't see that coming. What a
What a twist!
the rabble.
What a twist!
Order in this court, I see. Mr. Rat, you will explain yourself more in detail.
I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots.
I've been hit. I've been hit on the starboard side.
Captain Wright! It's a direct hit on the enemy ship, sir! A magnificent shot!
Warning shots fired from enemy ship. Prepare to intercept.
You've sunk his battleship!
Cosmos, you've turned a light in this court once again. I've been hit on port side. The enemy has called in reinforcements.
Ursa Cosmos Control Center requesting permission to ask that you return to reality.
I think that's a what's it called? That's a reference to the song Major Tom.
Alright.
Crown control to Major Tom. But anyway, or yeah, that might be.
But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence.
But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar. If Director Cosmos is the third person the Aura if Director Cosmos is the third person Aura Blackquill saw, then this person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mysterious person fired upon us.
Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge, it only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence on the director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you received from the third party will be all the proof we need to prove that you were the one there in the lounge. Brace for further rebate. Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge. The badge?
Bullet.
No. Which bullet?
Hold on.
Joyce is behind, and I'm
Present the bullet from Arms Gun.
Detective Arms Gun. This one? Yeah, this bullet.
Yes.
The 38 caliber bullet found on the floor at the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. And if we have that ricochet mark on the metal analyzed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. And if that mark proves to be from a 38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you are the third person we've been looking for. The bridge is destroyed. Losing altitude. All hands abandon ship. Okay, that's weird. I don't know why he's mixing up space and sea.
I mean, he's not very much of a legit.
He's not actually legit, generally.
I don't. Yeah.
No, he's a liar.
He's a liar and a fraud.
If that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank? If it was a 10 caliber bullet, in other words, it was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director? No! You've got it all wrong! What? The engines have started again? It's a miracle! I'm not going down yet!
This man,
Witness, stop this at once and confess the truth!
living in his own delusions.
If you don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great liar,
Then accept your fate and tell the truth.
Are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of Cosmos Space Center. But the cosmos revolves around me!
Buddy. Chaos. I love it.
this guy's a fucking load!
Someone get me off this!
Just throw it out.
How did you pass your astronaut training if you
Can't even pilot a Segway.
I know, right?
Order in this court, and will someone please stop the witness from spinning?
I know, right? The breakdowns are fantastic.
Phew. Thank goodness we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the earth, which is clearly flat. All right, that's a whole other fucking thing we gotta deal with the judge with later. While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running an analysis of the mark of the metal. It was made by a 30 caliber bullet, matching it with the size of Detective Arm's firearm. Are you ready to confess the truth, witness?
Нет, you got it all wrong. This is just misunderstanding.
Is he going to start piling on more lies?
It looks like it. But no matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them one by one. I bet he doesn't have a supersized schlong either. It's real. It's true. It's the truth. It's just a block of salami. It's a fake. He's a phony. No, I'll make that big liar tell the truth.
To be continued.
Aha! We are moving on to part 2.
Oh, part 2. We might finish this actually.
Yeah, I guess so. And you don't even have confetti.
Oh, there's confetti in the game. Rebel. Director Cosmos, a new possibility has been presented by the defense. They are claiming that you were this third person.
Forgive me, I'm so sorry.
He's full of baloney! So the great pioneer of space development is revealed to be just another fabulous cur. I only have one question for the likes of you. Shall I send you off quickly or very quickly? The evidence doesn't lie, Director Cosmos, so don't you try to talk your way out of this.
It's fine, I will tell the truth. It's all just as you say, Mr. Wright. It is true I was there in the boarding lounge. I got there before Detective Arm, and when she arrived, she fired warning shots at me. I was afraid people would mistake me for the killer, so I escaped to the control room. Then I went past the elevators and all the way around to the boarding lounge 1 again. I came up behind Detective Arm and pretended to be the second one on the scene. What a troublesome old man you are, with such convoluted deeds and thoughts.
I mean, yeah, we do remember how long it was. So when the walkthrough was like day 2 part 1 and then day 2 part 2, we didn't expect to get to part 2.
I see. So then, are you still insisting that you did not kill the victim? Well, of course I am. When I arrived at the lounge alone, I saw the true killer. The great Yuri Cosmos was a history-making witness.
It's time to make history. Wait, that's wrong. Wrong Yuri, wrong history. This is an ice skating
Wait
anime.
a minute. Now hold on one moment. We just proved a few minutes ago that the third person that Mr. Starbuck and Miss Aura Blackwell saw was you. Yet it was not me. I saw the person well. If I were killer, why would I lie to cover for Starbuck? I would just leave him to take the fall and get some frappuccino elsewhere, or maybe a JJ Bean or something.
Man's not wrong.
Yeah.
That is an excellent point.
All I wanted to do was to protect Starbuck, great coffee company from Afghanistan. I don't know.
Seattle.
Yeah, from Seattle. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person.
Well, it makes sense if he told those lies to cover for Mr. Starbuck.
Still, a lie's a lie, Athena.
So, Director Cosmos claims he's not the culprit, but where's the proof?
Oh, I just remembered. I have alibi. Miss Blackwell said that she saw the killer at 10 a.m., correct?
Yes, and?
Well, I was on the 4th floor helping with the evacuation effort. And ask any member of the staff you'd like, they will corroborate me.
The director is not fibbing to the court for once. I confirm that he has an alibi for the time specified. So, you're claiming that Miss Blackwell saw the killer commit the crime first at 10 a.m. And that you arrived at the lounge after that.
Yes. And I believe the person I saw is the same person that Miss Blackwell saw. Although it was pitch black, so it was more of a shadowy figure and less of a person. And I couldn't actually see their face, but it was definitely the silhouette of an earthling.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks for nothing. I guess as long as he has an alibi. We can't very well claim Director Cosmos was the killer.
No, we can't. Then again, maybe we don't need you yet. I wonder if he really was covering for Mr. Starbuck. Your Honor, the defense moves to have the director testify about the person he saw.
Very well, Director Cosmos, your testimony, please, even though you have proved yourself completely incapable of telling the truth and a very poor witness. We'll go ahead with it. Why the fuck not?
We'll continue to take your statements.
As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. I hid to avoid getting shot, but when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. I was near the elevator side door and, well, the launch pad 1 door, and the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer.
So you were shot at by the killer as well, and then they disappeared?
Yeah, though luckily no harm came to my glorious body.
Oh, God.
I'm like fucking shredded under here. I'm fucking cut, man. You wouldn't believe it.
You wouldn't believe the cum gutters I've got.
I'm like sporting some serious, what do they call, cum gutters? Just fucking the best, man. Unfortunately, the bullet hit
This channel is rated M for
the bullet
mature.
hit Terran's oxygen tank. I know because I heard the bang bang, and that must have been the sound of the tank being ruptured or hitting my sweet iron abs.
Wait, but I thought the bullet hit his metal.
That was Detective Arm's bullet, remember?
Right. What a mess this is turning into. So, let's see. Director Cosmos is claiming that when he found Mr. Terran and his killer, the culprit shot a 10 caliber bullet at him.
Right, but it actually hit Mr. Terran's oxygen tank and ruptured it.
And then the killer disappeared, and the director went into the boarding lounge. When Detective Arm caught up and fired those warning shots at him. Judging by his medal, it looks like one of them almost took him out, too.
A good summary, but that doesn't explain where our mystery killer went. Director Cosmos, I was wondering if you could elaborate on when the figure disappeared.
I am ashamed to admit it, I tried to hide myself when I was shot at, but when I peeped back into the lounge, the real killer was gone. I rushed into the lounge straight away to investigate, but what I found was Terran with a knife in his chest and Starbuck out cold on the floor. So we have a culprit who vanished from a scene that had no escape route. Vanished without a trace. It's truly like one of the great mysteries of the cosmos.
Shut your fucking mouth, bitch.
A riddle of the ages indeed, but I'd rather know how a fibbing leech such as yourself can be lauded as great. How about you go fuck yourself, bitch? I am free man, you're in jail. A great man is always misunderstood in his own time, but he must remain true to himself even if those around him do not understand.
Wow, that might be the first true statement he's said all day.
Even if it may still be a little bit delusional, but sure.
But how do you suppose this person managed to vanish so suddenly?
Simple, because it was Space Boy himself. When he was spotted by the director and Aura, he quickly feigned unconsciousness, and that would certainly take all the mystery out of the idea of a vanishing culprit.
Hey, Gamer Chat, welcome in.
Hello.
How are you?
I want to raise an objection, but I don't have any counter evidence. Director Cosmos, when you saw this person, did you also see Mr. Starbuck on the floor?
Yet, because it was dark and as a black hole in there. I didn't see Starbuck until the other person vanished and I entered the room.
That wasn't exactly helpful.
I'm prepared to accept your surrender, right or no?
I can't find any holes in this testimony, but I can't give up.
Mr. Wright, why don't you let me help?
Huh?
While the director was giving his testimony, I detected a cacophony of discord.
Which means he's hiding his true feelings from us, huh? This might just help us find out what happened to our vanished killer. That'd be great, Athena. Let's see what you can do with him.
All right, time to crack out the therapy. I'm going to break your mind. I mean, you got it, boss. I wouldn't want to miss this chance to delve into a great mind. Yuri Cosmos, prepare to hand over the secrets of your heart to me.
It's maybe on some lint.
Blip, blip.
Beep boop beep.
Blip, blip. Here we go. Let's break into his heart.
As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. I hid to avoid getting shot at.
Okay, anger, that's fair.
Sadness.
But when I tried to get another look, they had finished into midair. I was near the elevator side door, and while the launchpad 1 door,
Oops, sadness, that's weird.
and the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer.
This is weird, right? Why is he sad? Or maybe not, no,
It says to identify, pinpoint surprise on the 4th statement? But there's no surprise in the 4th statement.
well, like, he wasn't surprised when they had vanished. That's the point,
Ah,
right?
yes.
Like, when he went in, he wasn't surprised, which was like, should you be?
This is true. Shouldn't you be?
Shouldn't you be surprised? It's not where was the emotion, it's the lack thereof, right? You must have thought it was very strange that the killer vanished into thin air.
I did. That kind of thing just doesn't happen usually. Except when I'm on a date, you know, it's very hard.
Hydrate!
Hydrate!
Time to hydrate! Yes, you should.
I should hydrate. Give me my PA a bit. Okay, I gave her Chelsea in a bit.
Yes.
Sipping my water with my Capcom water bottle. The last
repping
remnants
that
of
brand.
Vancouver. My Vancouver Capcom. My Vancouver Capcom studio. Rest in pieces.
Rest in pieces.
Yeah.
And yet at the time you barely registered any shock at the occurrence.
What? What are you...
Well, I can only think of one reason as to why you weren't surprised by the killer's vanishing act. You must have had a good idea to where they went. Isn't that right?
What? No, yet, of course not. That's preposterous. Only I could enter the control room.
Oh, that leaked out.
And the area beyond the launch pad door was filled with smoke, making it impossible. As for the southern door, I was standing right there. So there was nowhere for the killer to run to.
Maybe or maybe not. You went into the room to check on Mr. Starbuck and Mr. Terran, yes? But if the culprit took that opportunity to silently slip out through the... what if the culprit took that opportunity to silently slip through the southern door?
I highly doubt it. As you recall, right after I entered the lounge, Detective Arm came rushing towards it herself via the south hallway. Anyone trying to escape through there would have been caught by her.
And yet, the director wasn't surprised the killer vanished. So you're absolutely sure there was no escape route for the culprit to use?
It's working, boss! One more punch and it'll be a knockout! There seems to be one emotion that's at odds with his testimony. Go get him!
Okay, back into the Matrix it is. Time to pinpoint our way to the victory. And maybe I'm the one. Keanu, whoa.
Whoa!
I know law. No, you don't. I know law.
I know how to law.
I know how to law too.
The sixth statement. There is sadness.
2, 4. No, yeah, 6 statement. Sadness.
Yes,
Which is like, why
sadness.
were you sad?
Why is there sadness?
Why sad? Why sad? Why sad?
Why are you sad?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be afraid of the launch pad door.
I mean, that's one way of saying sadness. Sure, all right.
the great Yuri Cosmos afraid? And what basis do you have for that outlandish accusation?
Well, whether I have a basis or not, you seem quite distressed by it.
I'm most certainly not.
Director Cosmos, there's something about the launch pad door you're not telling us, isn't there?
Wow, he's speechless. It looks like you hit the nail on the head, boss. I'll just input these two pieces of data and... Yes, just what I wanted to see.
Oh, Alex likes ramen 21. Thank you for the follow, friend. Do you like 21 types of ramen or just one type of ramen? Let me know.
What kind of ramen do you like? Do you like rich broth or light broth?
Do you like the fatty chunks of pork? Noise level. Ooh.
He's still pretty noisy. Presto changeo, less discord. Looks like we're on the right track.
Thanks, Athena. Now to make sense of what we've learned. Director Cosmos wasn't surprised that the culprit suddenly vanished from the lounge, which points to the possibility that he knew where the killer had escaped to. Furthermore, talking about the door to the launch pad made him uneasy. In other words, he's probably hiding something about the launch pad 1 door. When we put these two pieces together, the only one solution to this puzzle comes to mind. Did you want to get rid of the filter for this?
What filter?
There's like a brown filter.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
That was the one thing I remember last time. We're like, why is this game suddenly getting a little bit more darker? It's because
right,
Joyce has the nighttime settings here.
I can't see.
What are you looking for?
To turn it off. Oh wait, hold on.
on here.
It's right click.
1 second, some technical issues. Disable
Disable
until sunrise too.
until sunrise.
There we go. Get the nice
I
colors
apologize. I apologize. I have
in there. It was easier on the eyes to see. Oh my god, it's Eddie Jake with the Meekins!
Meekins!
That's what it is. The third person was Meekins all along, folks.
I apologize. I have eye strain, the thing turned on so that it doesn't kill us. Yeah, it was definitely a night filter.
So it doesn't destroy our eyes. To be fair, it was very easy to look at. Now I'm just like, eh.
And I was like, oh, it's
My
bright.
laser eyes, they burn.
No.
Did you, Director Cosmos, did the real killer escape through here? Your
The
butt?
launch pad 1.
Your butt? Your butt? The culprit went through the launch pad 1 door to escape, didn't they? Yes, yet, disaster to starboard. We're going to crash into an asteroid. A master tactician, you are not.
But the area beyond that door was filled with smoke, wasn't it? Maybe
True.
not.
But this is still only the only logical answer there is. If you can just figure out what the director is hiding about the Launchpad 1 door, we should be able to iron out the logical inconsistencies. Your next line says it. Your next line is it was Meekins. Yeah. But the door requires fingerprint recognition. Only Starbuck, Terran, and I have access. I don't see how the killer couldn't open the security lock, do you? I think there's a manual override, isn't there? Mm-hmm. That's an easy one. The killer was right there in the boarding lounge, meaning there's a way he could have easily gotten past that security lock. Come to think of it, we did examine the print on the fingerprint recognition device. That's not really a flashback, but okay. I propose the killer use this person's fingerprints to get past the security lock. Oh, who did he use?
Solomon Starbuck himself.
Yeah, the unconscious, because he was unconscious, right?
Yes.
That's Mr. Starbuck was lying unconscious there in the boarding lounge. Anyone could have easily gotten past the security lock by using Mr. Starbuck's prints. And actually, Mr. Starbuck's prints are exactly what we found on the device's screen. Oh shit. Ah! It looks like he does have something to do. It looks like he does have something to hide about the Launchpad 1 door. I was playing League and I ran into Kylo Ren, but more emo. I can't imagine how much more emo you could get. And I'm betting it's just got something to do with the culprit's escape route.
Now, is Edgy Chick and Edgy Kylo related? God, you can't just say that on the internet!
But I don't have enough information to see the whole picture yet. You know, something just occurred to me. Would you like to hear it?
Honestly, no.
Oh, God. Oh, yes, by all means. He's just milking this for all he's got. Like, there is a security camera in boarding lounge 1. Right. The one that we recorded the victim and the defendant. What about it, Your Honor? If the true culprit escaped into the Launchpad 1 corridor, then that might not be recorded on the security footage as well. Then the mystery would be solved. What do you think of my logic? Everyone's just like, are you fucking dumb? I hope you didn't strain your faculties too much for that, your baldness. I beg your pardon. Look, if we play the security footage beyond this point...
It corrupts.
Yeah, it corrupts. Oh my! The footage cuts off! The camera was running on backup power, but apparently the power cables were damaged, most likely by the after effects of the explosion. There is no footage after this, be it of criminals or space aliens. And I thought it was such a good idea too. Everyone pat the judge on the back for trying.
You tried.
Just because your grandchild is watching from the gallery doesn't mean you should try to show off too much. Grandpa baldness. Prosecutor Blackwell, how do you know about my grandchild?
I think his grandchild just learned a little about harshness of the adult world.
Setting aside the issue of grandchildren, I'd like to have the witness continue. Director Cosmos, could you tell us more about when you entered the lounge?
If I must.
I had to avoid the shot. After the killer vanished, he went to the lounge and was sad. Info update. Spun. Saw Detective Arm appeared from the elevator side door. Why surprise though? Oh, here we go. And then the detective shot at me. Hey, I guess angry, sad, and surprised is a pretty common feeling. So you see, I killed the killer with escape. Okay, well, I don't know why would she be so surprised?
Yeah.
But you didn't do anything wrong, right?
Not this one, the next one.
Surprise here?
Yeah.
Well, the shot makes sense, but what doesn't make sense? Is it the surprise?
Why was he more surprised by a detective coming in than him getting shot by?
Director Cosmos, why were you surprised when Detective Arm found you, and again when she fired? Isn't that a bit unnatural?
Sadly, even great men such as myself have ordinary human feelings, but monster-sized dogs. Our bodies are bound by the forces of gravity and emotions, except for my monster dog. Even a great man such as myself experiences surprise on occasion.
Yes, I'm sure you do. But my real point is not the fact that you were surprised, but rather that what you were surprised by.
Pardon me.
First, you were surprised when Detective Arm found you in the lounge. And then just after that, you were, of course, again surprised by when she shot at you. But considering what you were surprised about, a strange phenomenon occurs here. Director Cosmos, what is strange about your surprise reactions? The fact that you were surprised.
More surprised when Iron came.
Yeah. The surprise when she arrived. Like, she's a detective. Wouldn't you think she would go towards the problem?
Yeah.
Sure, you were surprised when Detective Arm shot at you, but the surprise you felt when she found you in the lounge was much greater. Oh, fair.
I guess maybe
one or the other, yeah.
Statements would have been okay, yeah.
The fact that you were more surprised by simply being found at this found than being the fact that you were more surprised by simply being found than by being shot at suggests to me that you were conflicted about what it was you were doing there.
The enemy has acquired a new weapon. Commence operation hide under their desk. Goodbye.
That is not hiding under the dress.
He's just like spinning around. Please tell me I finally sunk his battleship. Ooh,
You're almost there. Boss, I'm getting less discord now. That must mean he really is hiding something about that launch pad door.
And whatever he's hiding most likely has something to do with the killer's escape.
I wonder what it could be.
If he was doing something suspicious around that door, maybe we could spot some change between before he came into the room and after.
Detective Fulbright gave us a photo taken after the crime. Let's run a comparison. Let's see. This is footage of the door before Director Cosmos arrived. And this is how the door looked after the director entered the lounge.
Hey, look at that! There is a change. Something definitely different. Director Cosmos.
What is it? What have you been up to over there?
Finally the answer to what you're doing when Detective Arm found you, that's what. And that answer lies clearly in this footage. All we have to do is compare it to the photo, and all we have to do is compare it to the photo that was taken during the investigation.
Don't be ridiculous. If you really do have an answer, you'd have pointed it out already.
He's asking for it. This is what changed directly after the incident.
The knob on the left.
Yeah, the knob has been turned.
Indeed.
Take that!
Take that!
The answer is this knob.
That's...
Your Honor, please take a look at this footage.
Let's see.
Take a look at the knob next to the launch. Take a look at the knob next to the launch pad door. As you can see, it's horizontal.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
However, when we investigated the scene of the crime yesterday, the knob was vertical.
And what does that mean?
It means that sometime between before the director arrived and after, someone turned this knob. After the scene was discovered, you were the only one who could have turned the knob.
Take a look at this knob!
Come on now, Director Cosmos. Let's hear what you have to say. What were you trying to do by turning that knob by the door?
I admit it. You're right, I did turn that knob. That knob is a safety lock meant to keep the launch pad in place. I was afraid there would be more explosions, so I wanted to move the launch pad away.
You wanted to do what?
Hey, didn't Ponko tell us something about how they prepare for launch? She said that once the launch pad's fully assembled, it's moved to the launch site. But the safety lock on the boarding lounge has to be disengaged first.
I guess that clears up what that knob is for.
Oh, so if the killer escaped into the launch pad corridor, maybe they were transported along with the launch pad to the launch site.
I don't think so. The Launchpad 1 corridor was filled with smoke. I don't think they could have escaped through that corridor.
So then, where did the killer escape to?
I guess there are still some things we have to uncover. Director Cosmos, I request that you tell us about moving the Launchpad in more detail.
Fine, but listen carefully, for I'm about to give history-making, giant dong level testimony. I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock.
Why was he happy about it?
I feared that there might be more explosions, so I had to cut the launch pad loose. Surely the only escape the killer had was to the launch pad, updated info. But that area was a sea of smoke. Confounded, where on earth could they have gone?
Yeah.
Pinpoint number one. Why
Why the
is
hell
he
you
happy?
I get to press buttons. I makes me happy.
Let me press the red
I get
button.
to twist my knobs. It's the only pleasure I get with this monster dog.
I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. You made it sound like you were reluctant to do so, and yet when you did, you felt some joy as if you were very pleased with yourself.
Like you said, I got the twist my nose.
How did you do it? How did you know everything as if you were there?
Pretty impressive, isn't it? This is the power of analytical psychology.
So, care to explain why you felt joy when you were care to explain why you felt joy when you disengaged the safety lock? When I think back to the facts we've discovered up to this point, I have to believe that you were trying to fulfill some hidden agenda.
How about you go fuck yourself?
That's a pretty fucked up thing to say to me.
It's a pretty fucked up thing to say to me. How did you know about that too?
Because I'm more or less a pro at guessing.
But you have no proof that I had a hidden agenda. And even if I did, I would never tell you, so there!
I know they say people regress as they grow older, but sir, you take the cake.
And how could you doubt a man with such great intensity, intelligence, and integrity in dong size?
Just shut the fuck up about your dong, God.
What is your deal with a dog?
You, a man of integrity, don't make me laugh. Prosecutor Blackwell, what came over him all of a sudden? You've spouted nothing more than falsities and fallacies since you stepped to the stand. You're not the kind of man that will be glorified in the annals of history. Not for greatness, anyway. Unless you consider greatest barefaced liar on honor.
You liar!
Oh, his words bite harder than his blade. You moved Launchpad 1 after the explosion. My, how naive you are. Slow turn for effect. You failed to realize how even the facts themselves have betrayed you. You know, just a thought, but modern English can be your friend. And here's a thought for you. Immediately following the bombing, Launchpad 1 was on the boarding lounge one side. The police confirmed this on scene. What? Liar! He's still going off about being a liar.
So that means the director didn't move the launch pad?
Curse my judgment for calling history's greatest liar to the witness stand. Let us leave him to indulge in his lies and war games to his heart's content. Liar!
Objection!
But it doesn't make sense. You can't deny that someone turned that knob. And once the safety lock was released, I'm sure the pad must have went somewhere. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we might just find out where the killer escaped to. Ah! You're sure it must have went somewhere? We, quote unquote, just might find out. Your arguments are nothing but conjecture, bluffing, and wishful thinking. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Or are you not man enough to, boy? Oh! There you go, Jess.
Talk about hitting below the belt. I must have really felt that in your big schlong.
Youngins these days. Now, youngins these days. I don't understand it. I'm sure Director Cosmos must have moved the launch pad. The knob was definitely turned after he came to the lounge, but the launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Ah! Wait a minute. Maybe I have it all backwards. What if the director turned the knob not to move the launch pad away, but to bring it back to where it was supposed to be? What are you blathering about? What if the launch pad was at the launch site before the incident, and then after the incident, Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot? All he had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back, and it would have been right where the police found it. No! I love how he replaces the hair slip.
You made him sigh like Mr. Starbuck.
Was what I said really that off base? It pains me to have explained how wrong your own logic is to you. However, our great liar turned the knob only after he discovered the crime scene. But yeah, he's a pathological liar. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when the Astro Wonders made their escape. A fact that has been recorded for posterity on filmless film. Oh, right. So I reiterate. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is, boy. Oh!
Get a grip, Mr. Wright, and focus. We know that Launchpad must have been moved.
But the deductions and actual facts of the case are in direct contradictions to each other.
Well, maybe the two astronauts never actually boarded the rockets. This footage could have been fake, taken with body doubles after the incident or something. On second thought, that's too far-fetched, even for me.
Reach up, poor girl.
Never actually boarded the rocket. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe, just maybe. Prosecutor Blackwell, what if I told you that the two astronauts never set foot inside the launch pad area, but instead went into another place? And what if that director moved the what if when the director moved the launch pad one back, it was not from the launch site, but from another place? What would you say then? Cut the existential bull, or I'll cut you. Mr. Rod, you will explain yourself at once. I know I'm right. It was all the other way. It was all the other way around from the beginning. Very well, Your Honor. Let me explain. Director Cosmos's reason for moving the launch pad 1 was to switch it
to another place.
Yeah. Because he wanted to switch it with some other place.
I'm sorry, but did you say switch it? What could he possibly have switched the launch pad with? Oh, you'd be surprised, Your Honor. It takes a little thinking outside the box, and the answer becomes clear as day. This is what he switched with launch pad 1, the museum.
Space Museum.
Yeah, because it's the only one on the track. Launch pad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. In the past, the Space Museum used to be launch pad 2. It had all the same features as launch pad 1, and can even be moved to the launch site. Meaning the Space Museum and launch pad 1 can be switched with each other. You can't mean. The rocket the astronauts boarded was not the one in launch pad 1. It was the one in the Space Museum. What? Balderdash! Holy shit, what a twist! I can't even think of it. And yet the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency. This is how the Space Center was just before the incident. See Launch Pad 1 and the Space Museum have already switched places? That's right, with the two switched like this. The astronauts entered the Space Museum from boarding lounge 1. This allowed the true killer to enter Launch Pad 1 from the boarding lounge 2. And set the bomb in the rocket.
Come to think of it, the door of the Space Museum from boarding lounge 2.
That was near you.
Oh, Scott. Welcome. The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Exactly. Anyone can pass through the door to the Space Museum. There's no fingerprint recognition system on that door. In other words, the two launch pads switched like that. Someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted that bomb.
Damn, that's an oversight.
After setting the bomb on the rocket, the culprit snuck into boarding lounge 1 and waited there, concealed, in order to kill Mr. Terran, and then the two astronauts emerged from the Space Museum. Recall that Miss Blackwell, Mr. Starbuck, and the director all saw a suspicious figure. Who we can suppose, after killing Mr. Terran, made their escape into the Space Museum. After that, Director Cosmos switched the two launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. The killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean getaway. Right, Odono. I see you know how to handle a sword, and handle it well. You too have a particularly large dong. Perhaps I should call you the Swordmaster Bluff. I'm a seasoned warrior who has cut down many a prosecutor.
Silence.
All right, roll it back here. But unless you can prove your theory, it's no better than a rusty sword. That's right. You have no proof I switched launch pads. Somebody needs a better anger management counselor.
If the launch pads really were switched, there might be a record of it somewhere.
At this point, Launch Pad 1 and the Space Museum were switched with each other. So the corridor beyond the door should be the one that belongs to the Space Museum.
Let's see. This is an image of the launch pad corridor, a launch pad 1 corridor. Do you see anything different when we compare it to the security footage?
Do you see anything different, chat? I'm gonna run to the washroom while this ad break hits. I'll be right back. Soy Dora.
You've got 30 seconds.
Soy Dora. You know what a sandwich is? That means.
Do you know how to say sandwich in Spanish? Ad in progress. Oh, I think... Did it run already? I don't know. It may have already run. In the meantime, Arash is gonna just go to the washroom. Tell me, chat, what do you see in Launchpad 1? Is there something different between Launchpad 1 and Launchpad 2? Aside from the nurse, the janitor robot that's kind of like, I regret every moment of my existence.
Please end my existence. All I ever do is sweep and vacuum and sweep and vacuum.
I actually don't remember what I'm looking at, but sure. Where's Arash went to the bathroom. Cause like there was an ad break, so Arash was like, I am gonna go pee. Gotta pee. Gotta pee. Just in time for the ad break to finish. I say just in time, but like, here we are, sitting here and waiting for him.
I have returned from Cosmonaut bathroom. Ugh. In space, no one hears you pee.
All right. Yes, the difference is that there's the moving, it's the moving sidewalk. Huh? That number on the floor.
Right by Blanco.
Well, what do you know? It looks like we have proof after all, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Prosciutto Blackwell.
Prosciutto Blackwell. And if this is just another bluff? Oh, don't worry. It's all right here. Right in this footage. Proof that beyond this door is the corridor to the Space Museum. Very well then, answer this for me if you would. What in the footage proves the corridor belongs to the Space Museum?
The number 2 right by the elbow.
Take that!
There's a 1 on the floor of the launch. There's a 1 on the floor of the Launchpad 1 corridor. But take a look at the floor and the corridor in the security footage. Do you see the number on the floor beside the astronauts? It doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's actually because what you see is actually part of a 2. What? Why is it a 2 and not a 1? That's because the corridor you see in the 1 is to the Space Museum.
And so that means the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke.
That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum. The explosion occurred in Launchpad 1 on the side opposite of the Space Museum. And now that we know that the 2 astronauts escaped from the Space Museum, the mystery of the previous trial of how they got down the ladder is cleared up. Mr. Terran, carrying Mr. Starbuck, simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level. Just incredible. The 2 launch pads were actually switched. But you'd think someone would have noticed an event of this magnitude. Everyone was down in the basement shelter when the launch pads were swapped back. There was no way anyone could have known what was happening on the surface.
I've got you now.
I might start shooting bricks. Brick shits. I'm gonna have the brick shits.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No more lies, Director Cosmos. It's high time you told us the truth.
My honor, my glory, everything is slipping away. Time to do the ultimate. Oh yeah, Galaxy engine. What? It's gone haywire. Ah! It won't stop. Ah! My star.
have
Flown.
flown off. Oh my god.
Bailiff, on your steed, and after that, witness.
Just on horseback.
Oh, I so sad and droopy.
I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to any bodily.
What the fuck? Standard Ace Attorney, man.
When they lose it, they fucking lose it.
Standard Ace
Director
Attorney.
Cosmos, do you admit you switched the launch pads?
I admit it is true. I switched Launchpad 1 for Space Museum.
Fast and Furious. Drift.
I wonder if you know how they live in Russia. Oh. Fast and Furious.
Drift.
Drift.
It's good to hear words I can believe for a change. Before you do, Your Honor, two things. First, we don't know if Mr. Terran had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Terran would have realized the instant he stepped into the Space Museum that it had been switched with the Launchpad 1.
Thanks for coming by, Brendan. Good night.
Bye! So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Terran feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? As for my second question, I'd like the director Cosmos to tell us why he switched the two launch pads to begin with.
Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say my hands were tied. I was not only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast.
The director is terrified.
He's blackmailed into this, essentially.
I mean, they knew.
The bombs are coming.
Yeah. He must have one heck of a reason for not wanting to explain why.
Probably not a good time to try and pry it out of him, huh?
Excuse me, would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, I am nothing.
Oh, poor guy.
Buddy.
I don't see why not. Bailiff, help the director retrieve his stars.
If that is what you base your self-worth on, you're in trouble, man.
I mean, come on. He's a space director of a space museum.
That cannot go into...
That can't go to space.
It appears the possibility of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself. Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say?
Oh, what was the Starbucks voice again?
He's the Rocket Man. I don't know.
He was like Keanu Reeves mixed in
think
with like,
so.
yeah.
Well, I don't get it. No, I don't get it.
Have you saved yet? Not yet, but
We
we're-
will.
We will.
What was his
Welcome
voice?
in, Paul.
I'm trying to remember what Starman's voice was. There's a starman living in the sky.
I don't know. I think it was Keanu.
Yeah, it's Keanu Reeves.
Don't get it? What don't you get? Director, why would you do all that? From the very beginning, you never meant to launch the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us. Mr. Starbuck.
Starbuck, my boy, I am sorry. I cannot tell you the reason why. But I had to do it to protect the Space Center.
Director. Will I ever get a chance to go into space again?
I mean, you want to?
Like, he was terrified of going into space this time.
Duh, of course. I won't rest until it happens. I will get you into space again, my boy.
Like, half your team is dead.
Then the dream is still alive.
Silence.
Oh, someone's got words.
You're not going into space, Starbuck, but prison. I won't have it any other way.
What are you so hung up on him? Why are you so hung up on him?
Yes, I accept that the launch pads really were switched. And if there were a third person at the scene, I suppose they could have escaped. But I have yet to see proof of this third person's escape via the museum. Oh, that is a good point. He's right. I don't have any proof. Starbuck, you will spill everything you know. What? Me? Where did you get those bombs? Tell me now. If you don't, my blade shall feast on your blood. I'm gonna die. I don't want to die in space. If I'm gonna die, I want to die in space. I have to do something. Solomon Starbuck, prepare yourself.
Prepare your butthole.
Now you know the violence isn't the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Thank God Fulbright's
I know, right?
and that annoyingly cheerful laugh. It can be none other than champion of the righteousness, Bobby Fulbright here. In justice we trust. Detective Fulbright. Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late. I don't believe we've had an appointment. I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady cross the street. And when I had to break up a cat, and then I had to break up a cat fight. I tell you, justice sure is a full-time job. Was it a fight between cats, or... why are you here again? Because the defendant isn't the culprit, and I came to make sure that justice is served. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Fulbright, I always thought you were a bit touched in the head. But have you finally succumbed? Nope. But it looks like you've succumbed to this phantom of yours. Open your eyes and let evidence of justice uncloud your judgment. What evidence?
Come to think of it, he did say something about finding us some evidence.
Thanks to you two, I feel a lot better now. I feel a little better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. I'm going to work extra hard to find that perfect piece of evidence for you.
I didn't think he was serious, though.
Good old Fulbright. So what is it, Detective? Is it something that will prove Mr. Starbuck innocent? It is indeed. I have a look at this. What's this? A lighter? That's right. A lighter thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. It was the victim, Clay Terran's blood, along with the killer's fingerprints on it. Ooh.
Ooh.
What? Wow, Fulbright actually did something. Holy shit, this guy's not bad. What a giant dong on this guy. I'm just filling in the rabble.
It's always about the dongs.
Order. Detective Fulbright. Can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the detective? You bet! Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent. This is it. This is just what I needed. Nice. Your Honor, this is decisive evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered Mr. Terran, they escaped with the lighter in hand into the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred. Then finally, the killer left the boarding lounge too and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in boarding lounge 1 after the murder. The fact that Director Cosmos has testified to, a fact that Director Cosmos has testified to. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck couldn't have been the one who dropped the lighter there.
Silence.
But the defendant had free reign of the area until Director Cosmos appeared. Could he have not dropped the lighter in the Space Museum during that span of time? You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? But But Director Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure with the lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In other words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had the time to double back to the museum. No, Prosecutor Blackquill, this lighter could have only been dropped by the real killer. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found on this lighter. I think you understand what this means, don't you? This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit. This does indeed appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defense's claims. As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume it was planted by the killer on the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. No, there must be some mistake. Frankly, Prosecutor Blackquill, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow...
Silence.
Fulbright, you promised to never speak of that. Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow?
Statute of limitations on some kind of case.
Yeah. Given the body of evidence, I think it's safe to say the defendant is innocent, in light of the fact that it was impossible for him to have committed the crime. A few unanswered questions remain, so I look forward to seeing what you two uncover. But for now, the court finds the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, say it all together with me, everybody, not guilty. And confetti! Woo, confetti! Da-na-na, da-na-na, confetti! Yeah, confetti, confetti, confetti.
Yes! We did it, Mr. Wright!
Looks like we pulled it off somehow, huh? With some help from Detective Fulbright. Mr. Wright, Mr. Sykes, thank you.
Mr. Sykes, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Wright, Miss Sykes, thank you. And please thank Apollo for me, too. You all are the best.
Oh, I wish I could tell Apollo about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now.
Yeah, me too. But that's gonna have to wait. Now that the verdict has been reached, I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Court is adjourned.
Objection!
Oh, come on! The verdict is done. You can't do shit about it. The gavel is down. Yeah, it's too late to object, isn't it? It simply isn't possible. Something is wrong. Prosecutor Blackquill, are you dissatisfied with the verdict? Fulbright, what are the results of the fingerprint analysis for the lighter? Huh? The results? Oh, well, I was in a hurry, you see, and then there was that cat fight, and, well, I kind of got carried away when I heard the prince went Mr. Starbucks, so you have yet to read it. Prosecutor Blackquill, can you read out who the prince belonged to?
His bird does have a bandana.
Yeah.
It's got the prison stripes on it, too.
Yeah, so they're all prison. He's a prison bird, get it? Yeah. Upon thorough analysis, the fingerprints were found to belong to Athena Sykes. So says the report. What? What? Huh?
Me?
Holy shit, she did it! What a cat! What a babe! I'm looking forward to the next one. I gotta pee. Order! Order, I say! Miss Sykes, tell me you have an explanation for this. We just finished proving that this lighter could have only belonged to the killer. So finding your prints on it can only lead us to one grave conclusion.
I don't know how they got there, but I know I'm not the culprit.
Holy shit, she is the culprit! Did anyone see where that baloney went? This can't be happening. We built up an argument piece by piece, and I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So how could it have led to this? Oh shit! This ain't over, ladies and gentlemen. No! What have I done? Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Order! Detective Fulbright, you stop crying. What in the world is happening here? It's like the world's gone mad. Order! I will have order. Holy shit, this is crazy. Did anyone see where that bologna went? It tastes kind of warm, a little salty. Confusion spiraled into utter chaos. After all, we'd fought for the truth. After all we'd fought for, the truth had turned cruelly on us to accuse Athena of the crimes. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. We had stumbled over the edge of reason and into the jaws of a twisted darkness. Also, that bologna tasted really weird. Where did we get that from? Fiend. That's it. That's the game. Thanks, folks.
That's it.
A new episode has been added.
Now we get to
Turnabout for tomorrow.
Now we get to delve into Athena's
Tragic backstory.
Yeah.
We got like 15 minutes before 11. We can start just like maybe getting ahead until like we get to the pre stuff.
You want to see?
Yeah, just like 15 minutes should be fine.
That's what you think.
No one can escape their past. Some real life blood right there. Whoa, okay, Tana.
Simon?
The sins we've committed and the sadness we've caused. No matter how far we run, our past remains as ever present in the moon as the moon in the sky. Oh boy, being boss as fuck.
I still remember when the first ads for Duel of Destinies came out with that shot, and I'm like, Apollo, what happened to
It
you?
looms in wait for the day when we are forced to face it.
Like, seriously, Duel of Destinies is so dramatic.
But only in doing so can we truly make peace and move on in hope towards tomorrow.
I was here for just a fun lawyer sim game, and I've got like,
People, friends dying, people dying, spirits coming back, bombs. I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. They took Athena from the courtroom straight to the station. She's probably being questioned at this very moment. Oh, there's the red suit belong to Apollo? Yeah, because he never wears it, right? But he has a three-piece suit.
yeah.
After this past year, I took it for granted that those two could always be here. But now Apollo has gone off on his own to seek his own truth. And my pursuit of the truth only ended up with Athena becoming a new suspect. Some boss I turned out to be. Oh, Trucy.
It's even quieter in here than usual.
Yeah, it seems so empty too.
I just don't get it, Daddy. All of your reasoning during the trial seemed perfectly solid.
Yeah, and I still believe it was. At least based on what we know.
But now, Athena's the one who's being accused.
Oops, my bad.
How dare you?
During the trial for the bombing and the murder that occurred at the Cosmos Space Center, the lighter used by the real culprit was found. This lighter proved the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, innocent. But Athena's prints were found on it instead. And she was subsequently arrested for the murder.
But Athena couldn't have done it. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, none of it does. I've been racking my brain, but I just can't figure it out. Ah, where's the flaw in my reasoning? What have I got wrong in this case?
You know, Daddy, if Athena was here, she wouldn't just be sitting around thinking. She'd be out there doing something. You are going to defend Athena, right, Daddy?
Of course I will. And thanks, Trucy. I needed that push. Trucy's right. The trial is tomorrow. There's no time to waste. If I'm going to prove Athena's innocence, I'd better get out there and find some evidence.
Off we go then. We're on a hunt for evidence that'll prove Athena's innocence.
Great. But before we go, I'd better tidy up the evidence I have on hand. And unnecessary evidence was left at the office. Perfect. Athena's probably still in the middle of being questioned. So Trucy's right. The thing to start with is to talk to the people at the Space Center. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk to a few people, and then we'll call it quits for the night around 11. Sure. We go to the entrance, where we can find One-san, probably. Miss Blackwell One-san.
Maybe.
Ooh, nope. Director Cosmos, do you have a minute? Galactic Scooter, full speed ahead! Director! Oh, he scooted away.
His expression changed the instant he saw you, Daddy.
The emphasis on Daddy is so right now. Stop. Can you like put a little, like just like in a voice room? It's just like, can you put a little less emphasis on Daddy, please? It's getting everyone here a little bit uncomfortable. Well, yeah.
Daddy.
You want this job? You can fucking shape up, okay? Because this is not funny, okay? This is real life, all right? Yeah, well, I dragged his name through the mud pretty good at the trial earlier today.
But that's what you do, Daddy.
All right.
At some point, we keep saying, but we have to go through our archives and make
Just compilation.
a Daddy supercut.
Start saying Daddy supercut.
That's gonna be so awful.
We were here only yesterday. Oh, hey. Oh, here we go. Mr. Starbuck, you've been released, huh? Yep. And I came straight here. This is all thanks to you and your team, Mr. Wright. You've given me a second chance to fly into space again. I can't thank you enough. Except... What's wrong? I thought he'd be happy to be acquitted. As I was coming out of the detention center, I saw Miss Sykes. You saw Athena? I was at a loss for words, so I didn't know what to say to the poor girl. And then, you know what? She flashed a peace sign at me. Congratulations on your acquittal, she said. Now you can go back into space someday. Yeah, that sounds like Athena. I can just picture it. But I saw her eyes. They were red and swollen from crying. She's got to be suffering. She must be so worried. And yet she went out of her way to be nice to me and give me that big smile?
She held back her own tears so that she could give someone else a smile. That's so Athena.
There's no question about it. That girl is innocent. Please, Mr. Wright, you have to make sure she goes free. And then they can put me in prison instead. I don't mind. We can't have that either, Mr. Starbuck. Don't worry, Mr. Starbuck. I'm going to give her the very best defense I can. I promise to get her acquitted, just like I did for you. I know she'll be all right with you in her corner. I know you'll never give up on her. Apollo has a fine boss to look up to.
Yeah, about that.
About the matter? No, I still can't believe Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. What could have made Director Cosmos do such a thing? I haven't the foggiest idea. So there was never going to be a launch that day. Not from the very beginning. I wonder if Clay knew. I imagine he must have. Surely he would have noticed when you went to board the rocket. It's pathetic to think I was the only one who got taken in. I
guess that's about how it goes then. I guess that's about how it goes. When you're worthless than space debris.
Is he going to be all right, Daddy? His expression looks as dark as a black hole.
Well, that's just how he is. Mr. Starbuck, do you remember anything about the murder? The murderer? Not really. After I saw a shadowy figure in the... No, I only saw a shadowy figure in the dark after all. Yeah, I guess that was a little too much to hope for. Hey, I heard something from the police though. They said that they never did find a 10 caliber bullet down the 10 caliber gun down the trash chute. Just as I thought, the culprit must have carried it away with him when they escaped.
So, was the person you saw holding a gun, Mr. Starbuck?
Well, I couldn't really tell. But it wasn't Athena, right? You could tell if a person was male or female, tall or short. Oh, I can't even tell you that much, man. Oh, man, I'm useless. When the culprit opened the door and some light came in, I should have been able to see. The door. Oh, yeah. As I recall, they opened this door here as they made their escape.
The door to launch pad 1, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Except right now that door leads to the Space Museum. You mean the launch pad and the Space Museum are switched right now? Yeah, they're trying to investigate the theory you came up with in court. So they're recreating the conditions, huh? I'd like to see what's beyond that door now. Mr. Starbuck, could you open this door for us? Sure, just let me have my print scanned here. They probably denied him. Oh, yeah, that works.
Do.
Very nice. Do the launch pads get switched back and forth a lot? Well, back when the Space Museum was Launchpad 2, they used to switch the pads around at times. But these days, Launchpad 2 is only used as a tourist attraction, right? Right. Because, quite frankly, the Space Center needs the money. Yeah, I hear you. Times sure are tough.
Daddy, let's go check out what's beyond that door.
Sure, let's go.
I want to know what's behind door number 2.
Hey, why don't I come along? I can show you around. Hey, we picked up a buddy. Ooh, oh.
What the?
It's Poop!
Poop!
Poop! Poop. Actually, here we go. Huh? I wonder what these dead leaves are doing here.
Maybe they were stuck on the bottom of somebody's shoe. There are lots of trees around the Space Center.
That's true. She's right. It's a modern state-of-the-art building, but it's surrounded by trees. But I don't know. If they were stuck on the bottom of someone's shoe, wouldn't they look more crushed up? These don't look like they've been stepped on.
Maybe there's some kind of secret hatch in the corridor, and they came in that way.
Not everything is set up like a magician's... Sorry, not everything is set up like a magician's stage, you know.
Oh, Daddy, why do you have to take the magic out of everything?
Why do you hate me, Dad? Do you hate me? So, this is another one of those devices for opening the door, huh? Yup. But this one doesn't require fingerprint verification. You just hit the button and open sesame.
So when you and Clay went through here, you didn't need to show your prints either?
That's right. That's right. That's right, Trucy. Just like how the culprit didn't need to scan their prints when they escaped back out to the Space Museum corridor, into boarding lounge 2. Clock update. Perfect.
I mean, that makes sense when you're on the inside, you don't want to get locked in.
Yeah. Well, I don't see anything else that jumps out at me, and I imagine this corridor is built exactly like Launchpad 1 corridor. And we're going to the...
Back to the entrance.
Is Onechan gonna be here? Nope. So got that. Curse the wretch who sullied my good name. Reverse course and full speed away. Director Cosmos, wait! He's gone. And he's gone.
I'll handle this, Daddy. Take that!
Ah! The mobility system has been compromised.
Oh my god! Trucy just like ninja kunai'd him. Trucy's knife throw was a direct hit to the woman's tires.
Whereas like Phoenix's take that would have like accusing, she's like throwing knives.
Take that, murder knife!
And the streak continues.
Oh god. Almost killed someone. Maybe I should have kept a closer watch on what tricks she's been practicing.
I mean, if she's gotta do knife throw tricks, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
My dear old battleship, we fought many a skirmish together. It has been an honor.
I mean, I'm just imagining she's practicing the, you know, like the
Knife
spinning
board, yeah.
knife board. She's
The
practicing this with like Apollo. He's like, oh dear God, I'm here to be a lawyer,
Not a pincushion.
Daddy, he's going to blow that thing up.
Nah. I bet all that button will do is make it go haywire again.
Very well. I surrender. As a prisoner of war, I expected to be treated honorably.
All right. Oops. Goodbye. Just leave.
I need to leave. I should go.
I should go. I should go. Director Cosmos, when you were talking in the court about switching the launch pads, you used your right to remain silent about the reason as to why. I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched the 2 launch pads to begin with.
Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in the blast.
Sorry.
The center of the cosmos is shrouded in mystery, but I don't have any secrets left. Now that my battleship has been destroyed and I have been taken prisoner.
Oh, he lying.
I always lie.
Dang.
No secrets left, huh? I beg to differ. Looks like I'll have to undo some psych locks if I want to get to the bottom of this.
You can break him right away.
Yeah, he's a soft man.
Break him.
I will break you.
If I apply a little bit of pressure, he crumples like a butt bag. I want you to tell me everything you're hiding about the switching of the 2 launch pads.
I refuse. You can't make me. I can hold out longer than anyone.
I hope I never get to like this when I'm old. Now let's see where to start. This is how you explained your motive for switching the launch pads. You did it to...
Save the astronauts.
Yeah.
Save the bees!
Thanks to you switching the launch pads, the astronauts escaped injury from the blast. Instead, they safely boarded the museum's rocket, far away from the actual explosion.
My astronauts were raring to go out on an authentic adventure into space. How could you propose I had them board the fake rocket without them noticing?
I agree you could have done it without the help. For one, they would have figured it out the instant they stepped into the Space Museum. You figured you could fool Mr. Starbuck once he'd been drugged with his medication. But without the help of this person, it would have been impossible to pull your plan off. Clay.
He had to have been in on it.
Yeah. You must have gotten Mr. Terran to help you. He stole the tranquilizers from his mentor's locker and slipped them to him. And then, with Mr. Starbuck in a daze, they boarded the replica rocket into the museum.
Help! Please help this poor prisoner of war!
How was he able to spin around like that?
Talent.
Yeah. If you really wanted to save the astronauts' lives, shouldn't you have just called off the launch?
If I could have done that, do you think I would have gone? Do you think I would have gone to all their trouble?
I guess he must have had a compelling reason why he couldn't call it off. But how did you know to switch the pads in advance of the bombing incident?
Well, it's because I was warned in advance. Once I received that warning, it was my duty to ensure my astronaut safety.
But it was just a warning. It could have been a prank.
I mean, you take bomb scares seriously.
Yeah, I mean, like when you're considering that you're talking about a vessel that is filled with explosives, right?
Yeah, you take that shit seriously.
Yeah. Why did you believe in it so completely?
Because I went to one of those mediums that everyone's been talking about these days. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't realize channeling was back in vogue. Besides, I thought it was you yourself that had got the warning via telephone. Yes, that's right. The bomber had contacted me personally. My battleship is equipped with a special advanced communication system, you'll see. AKA a regular old telephone. Yeah, I got it. It's been a while. Planning another launch? I see you haven't learned. I'll never forget the terror I felt when I received that call. The bomber said it's been a while? And that was enough to make you take this threat seriously. Perhaps Director Cosmos took the threat so seriously because the Space Center had been involved in a bombing once before.
Yes.
Maybe. The culprit in the current case. The culprit in the current case is the same person who was involved in this incident.
The Hat 1 miracle.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
The first launch.
The Hat 1 miracle, the epic story of survival. People across the nation know it now as a heroic tale of bravery. But in truth, it was an act of sabotage perpetrated by our current killer, wasn't it? Very few knew about the previous plot, so when the caller said it had been a while, you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that danger was real, and it wasn't a prank. Didn't anyone ever tell you to go easy on an ex-serviceman? That's right, break. Yes, the Hat 1 miracle was really a desperate battle against an act of sabotage. I even lost the life of one of my staff members in the fight. Sabotage? Murder? So this is the ugly truth behind the Hat 1 miracle. I let my guard down. I thought the saboteur had been caught, and the case was closed. Huh? Wait a minute. The murder at the Space Center 7 years ago? This must be the person Director Cosmos thought was the culprit. Blackwell.
Yes.
Simon Blackwell, the murderer suspect in a case that happened here 7 years ago. The place and time of the two incidents, the murder and the sabotage, were the same. So you thought he committed both crimes. But while Prosecutor Blackwell was behind bars, you got another threatening call. If the culprit this time is the same as 7 years ago, then it isn't Simon Blackwell. Realizing that, you were shaken. It meant that the true culprit's been running free all this time. How do you keep seeing straight through me? Yes, break, you soft chili man. Yes, tell me your secrets. Gimme. The reason why Director Cosmos won't talk about why he switched the launch pads is connected to the truth behind the Hat 1 miracle. The sabotage and murder that happened at the space station 7 years ago. Director Cosmos, tell us what you're hiding. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Get fucked. If you really want to understand the reason I decided to switch the launch pads. Oh, here comes a flashback. We'll have to start with the story of that horrible nightmare from 7 years ago. And with that, we will end the stream. We will go ahead and hit the save file here. And we'll sign off for the night. Thank you for joining us here at the Daring Player Squad channel for our Sundays with Ace Attorney Bad Voice Dubs with me, Rashi, and
Joyce.
you will, if you like what you see here, remember to leave a like, hit a subscription, all that good stuff. We really appreciate everything and anything. Tomorrow is a Monday, which means it will be... Which day is it going to be on Monday?
Ash.
Ash's day. And she will be playing... what was it?
I don't know.
What is she playing recently? Anyway, she'll be playing a game. Tuesday we'll have Joyce coming back again with a new game called Grease. And then Wednesday with Colston. Or is that Wednesday with James. He'll have a new game in store for all y'all as well. And then Colston with Fire Emblem 3 Houses. And then Friday is a break day. And then Saturday we have a team stream. We're thinking about doing GTA 5, so if that sounds up your alley, we'll hope to see you there.
If you don't know, the Daring Player Squad is just 5 people who play video games together, and different days. So catch us whenever you can for a little slice of a little something different every day of the week, except for Fridays. And yeah, until then, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I hope you will come back next time. And until then, you keep happy, keep healthy, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 If I can.
Hit the button. Hit the button. Hit the button.